today in my first ever YouTube video of this relaunch. You're talking about the most over-the-top, insane, incredible tour. Of course, I'm talking about NSYNC's No Strings Attached tour. Let's get into it. It's been 25 years on March 21st, 2025, since No Strings Attached, the album, was released, which is insane in itself. But what's even crazier is that this tour was on a level that pop music had never seen before. And yet, I feel like we don't talk about this tour enough. So picture this, it's March 25th, 2000, almost 25 years ago, which makes me sick. NSYNC has obliterated album sales records with No Strings Attached. It's the fastest selling album ever at this point, which held the record for 15 years until Adele broke it. They decided to drop tickets for the tour in the same week. What happened when those tickets went on sale? 850,000 tickets were sold in one day. And this isn't like Ticketmaster as we know it today. Think about this in 2000. You had to physically go to a person to get these tickets. Entire arenas were selling out in minutes. Madison Square Garden, gone in less than 5 minutes. A single show in Chicago, 45,000 tickets were sold in under an hour. Fans were freaking out trying to get tickets. People were camping outside because, like I said, you had to go in person to purchase these. In person. Just imagine that, my girls, dropping at 10 a.m., getting on Ticketmaster. No, you have to deal with a human. Different times. Those are our veterans, okay? We respect our NSYNC veterans. Thank you. Scalpers were selling them for thousands. That is something we're used to. Back then, unprecedented. In total, they sold about 1.65 million tickets over 82 shows, making $76.4 million in the year 2000 alone, only being outgrossed by Tina Turner that year. Mind you, this wasn't just about the sales. This tour was a massive production, which brings us to, let's talk about the set design, because NSYNC just didn't walk on stage like normal human beings. No. They had to descend from the ceiling on giant puppet strings. They're dangling 20 feet in the air like pop star Pinocchios. The music starts and they dramatically cut their strings because symbolism. If that wasn't enough, the rest of the show is a full-on Broadway spectacle. They had hydraulic lifts, moving platforms, tons of pyro, catwalks that extended into the crowd, and multiple theme sections. There was a sci-fi, space cowboy theme, a money theme set with ATM machines for just got paid. They also had quick changes backstage that lasted literal seconds. Shout out to the wardrobe team. They don't get enough credit. Now let's talk about the actual logistics of moving a tour this big. NSYNC had 12 tour buses. Each member had their own. Crew, dancers, management, and 27 giant semi-trucks carrying lights, sound, staging, pyro, costumes, props. NSYNC had to be on precise cues. If they missed a platform raise, someone could literally die. Ask Joey Fatone about that. Shout out to the road crew, stage managers, and everybody backstage that made all of this happen every single night on this tour. The No Strings Attached tour was not just a tour, it was a cultural moment. This tour set the blueprint for every pop spectacle that followed. NSYNC was kind of the first to do it the way that they did it. And even 25 years later, people are still talking about it. Hello. Peep my It's Gonna Be Me matching sweatsuit. No man, no cry. Am I right? In total, NSYNC sold roughly 1.6 million tickets and grossed over $1 million a show. Over 82 shows for the entire tour routing. This tour primarily hit arenas and select few stadiums across North America. Arena dates typically saw attendance from 15 to 20,000 people, whereas stadium spectacles drew crowds of over 40,000. The average ticket price was around $45 to $50, meaning NSYNC didn't gouge prices, a strategy that likely maximized attendance, and something that we could very much use now in our verified fan hellscape of 2025. Mounting a show of this magnitude was expensive. The elaborate stage, special effects, crew payroll, and transportation all added up. By comparison, NSYNC's follow-up 2001 stadium tour, the Pop Odyssey Tour, was reported to cost tens of millions to produce. For the No Strings Attached tour, estimates put the production budget in the multi-millions. Pulling off the No Strings Attached tour required a small army. Stage design and special effects teams were tasked with bringing NSYNC's ambitious vision to life. The group's concept for this tour was tightly linked to their album's puppet theme, and they enlisted top talent to execute it. Production manager and set designers had to create a versatile stage that could fit both indoor arenas and outdoor stadiums. NSYNC traveled with a full live band as well. Their musical director and 5 backing musicians provided live instrumentation for the show. The tour's choreographers and dancers deserve a special mention. In addition to Wade Robson, Darren Henson, famous for crafting the Bye 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 dance, had input into some routines. The band members themselves were deeply involved in the creative process. From here on out, everything is going to be our call, JC said around that time, noting that NSYNC had more artistic control, from choosing choreographers to designing show concepts after freeing themselves from their old management. The day-to-day execution fell to tour managers and technical directors. NSYNC's tour manager at the time was Angie Warner, a seasoned professional who kept the show on schedule and the machine running smoothly. Warner, one of the few prominent women tour managers of that era, has since described how working with NSYNC early in her career was trial by fire. Coordinating security, transportation, and meet and greets for a boy band at peak fame was an immense challenge. The tour's production was also overseen by SFX Touring, the concert promoter/producer. They supplied road managers, logistic teams, and handled venue coordination. The MTV Making the Tour special, which first aired July 16th of 2000, documented many of these behind-the-scenes efforts, showing the song selection process, costume fittings, and tech rehearsals. Fans got to see the crew's passion and precision that made NSYNC's vision a reality. The tour's impeccable execution is a testament to those unsung heroes, the stagehands, engineers, lighting techs, audio mixers, etc. Visually and technically, the No Strings Attached tour was one of the most ambitious pop productions of its era. The stage design was built to reflect the album's central motif of the band as puppets who had cut loose. The literal theme played out on the show's opening. Each concert began with NSYNC making a dramatic entrance suspended above the stage by giant marionette strings. In one moment, you'd see an old-fashioned living room setup, and in the next, a high-tech sci-fi motif. These rapid set changes were enabled by mobile set pieces and huge video screens that anchored the stage. Key elements of the staging included multiple hydraulic lifts, an extensive pyrotechnics arsenal, flames, sparks, fireworks, many dance breaks, and an elaborate lighting rig that created a crazy light show sweeping across the arena. The stage itself was expansive with a long runway and secondary platforms allowing the group to move into the crowd. At one point, the members flew out over the audience on wires. One infamous logistical challenge occurred in June 2000 when a scheduled outdoor show at Joliet, Illinois had to be postponed due to weather. Heavy winds and a small tornado damaged the stage during setup. The crew had to scramble to repair equipment and the date was rescheduled to August. Huge video screens played custom-made visuals and interludes throughout the concert. One segment featured an interactive live video feed. MTV VJ Ananda Lewis appeared on screen to conduct a live audience poll asking the crowd to cheer for their favorite song, which NSYNC would then perform based on the loudest response. This kind of audience interaction, piped in via video, was a novel gimmick at the time and required technical coordination between the tour's video crew and MTV. These interludes kept the crowd entertained and screaming, while the band rushed off stage to change outfits or set pieces were swapped out. The tour featured 5 major costume changes for NSYNC themselves. They started in flashy patchwork vaudeville-style suits for the opening number, fitting the marionette theme, and then switched to futuristic streetwear for songs like Space Cowboy. The wardrobe team had an enormous task of organizing hundreds of costume pieces and executing super fast changes, sometimes in 60 seconds or less backstage. Despite the complexity, reviews praised the impeccable production timing. One reviewer noted the concert was choreographed down to the tiniest step, but still felt fun and spontaneous. In terms of pure scale, the No Strings Attached tour production was among the biggest of 2000. Reports compared it to other blockbuster tours by legends like U2 or the Rolling Stones in its use of cutting-edge staging. Logistics-wise, the success of moving an arena/stadium tour of this magnitude proved NSYNC's touring operation was world-class. Lessons learned in staging efficiency and even weather contingency planning on the NSA tour would inform many pop tours to come. The No Strings Attached tour wasn't just a musical event. It was a marketing juggernaut that extended far beyond the stage. NSYNC and their partners capitalized on the tour's popularity with extensive merchandising and corporate sponsorships. Merchandise stands offered everything from the usual concert t-shirts and posters to more unique items tied into the tour's theme. One of the most sought-after collectibles were the NSYNC marionette dolls. The other 4 are above my fridge. These dolls became hot sellers at the concerts and in stores. Tour t-shirts featuring dates on the back and the band's puppet-like images on the front flew off the shelves. Many teens proudly wore them to school the next day to brag that they went to the show. And items like program booklets, hats, glow sticks, and even disposable cameras with NSYNC branding were available. Industry analysts estimated that the tour's merchandise gross reached 8 figures, likely on the order of $15 to $20 million or more. In fact, NSYNC's 2000 tour merch sales were record-setting for a pop act at the time, rivaling those of rock bands. On the sponsorship front, the tour was officially sponsored by MCY Music and Nabisco. Nabisco, the famous snack company, saw NSYNC's massive teen following as a perfect match for their products. Nabisco's sponsorships manifested in promotions like on-site sampling and special contests.
Attention! NSYNC will perform live for your school if you win the Nabisco back-to-school sweepstakes.
To enter, look for specially marked packages or send name, address, phone, and birthday here. Many will enter, one will win.
Bobby, restock aisle 5.
NSYNC were featured on limited edition Nabisco cookie boxes, and Nabisco Kids' website had NSYNC-themed games and content, all cross-promoting for the tour. In addition to the main sponsors, the tour had promotional partnerships. For instance, Yahoo Auctions teamed up with NSYNC to auction front row tickets for select shows, like those at Madison Square Garden and Staples Center here in LA, with proceeds going to charity. Radio stations across the country also tied in with the tour. Local pop stations sponsored pre-concert parties and gave away tickets, further hyping the events. NSYNC's record label at the time, Jive, coordinated a massive marketing push. At each venue, you'd find booths for fan club signups and tables selling the latest album and video releases, like the Live at Madison Square Garden concert VHS, which coincidentally hit #1 on the music video charts during the tour. Unlike today, formal VIP meet and greet packages were not widely sold in 2000, but NSYNC's fan club offered a lucky few fans special access. Ticket holders who were members of NSYNC's official fan club could enter lotteries for meet and greet passes. These fan club meetups weren't an extra cost, aside from the fan club membership fee, which in retrospect was a great value considering how much VIP packages command today. Take it from me. Merchandising tie-ins extended beyond the concerts themselves. The sheer success of the tour fueled more NSYNC products on shelves. One could find everything from NSYNC branded school supplies to an NSYNC aboard game. What was it actually like to be a fan or a worker on the No Strings Attached tour? Contemporary accounts from concertgoers and even some crew give us a vivid picture of the NSYNC mania at ground level. Fan recollections consistently describe these concerts as a once-in-a-lifetime experience, a mix of pure pop euphoria and impressive showmanship. Many fans attending their first ever concert found NSYNC set an almost impossibly high bar. The excitement often started hours before showtime. At many venues, teenage fans, overwhelmingly girls with a healthy dose of parent chaperones in tow, would begin gathering in the parking lot or arena plaza in the afternoon, even though doors wouldn't open until evening. Groups of fans blasted NSYNC CDs from car stereos, practiced the Bye 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 dance in the parking lots, and traded NSYNC trivia while holding homemade signs and wearing homemade t-shirts. The atmosphere was equal parts slumber party and sporting event. Fans often showed up in creative attire. Common sights included t-shirts declaring allegiance to a favorite member, an example, Mrs. Timberlake, or JC girl like myself. Neon posters with messages like "We Heart NSYNC," "Marry Me Justin," or even some light cosplay. A few bold fans dressed as puppeteers or dolls to match the tour theme. Such anecdotes illustrate the almost Beatlemania-like fever in the crowd. A few special moments stand out in stories. In Memphis, Tennessee, Justin's hometown stop, he received his high school diploma on stage mid-concert, with his tutors and his mom presenting it and 20,000 fans cheering him on. Interestingly, some fans also got to experience the tour from the working side. Local teen fan club members sometimes volunteered as ushers or merch sellers just for a chance to be at the show. Think Taylor Swift Eras Tour, fans as security. One fan who volunteered to hand out programs in her city wrote on a forum that she ended up near the soundboard and could see the backstage commotion, and that the band had a foosball table and video games backstage to blow off steam before each show. She noted that despite the chaos, the 5 members were unfailingly polite to the venue staff. As mentioned, some lucky fans got meet and greet access through the fan club lottery. The guys were usually seated at a table and answered a few questions. One fan recalled nervously asking when the "This I Promise You" music video would come out, and the bandmates exchanged knowing grins because they had just finished shooting it that day, so they told her really soon. Sure enough, a couple weeks later, the video premiered, and she realized why they had giggled. They were literally in their outfits from the video at the meet and greet. These humanizing interactions, like Justin winking at a fan, JC remembering a fan's name from an online fan page, became legend in the fan community. Many who didn't win passes still tried to catch a glimpse of the band offstage. Hotels were often staked out by fans hoping for a quick autograph. All of this behind-the-scenes frenzy just added to the allure of the tour in fan lore. Even crew members became minor celebrities in the eyes of hardcore fans. For example, NSYNC's choreographer and backup dancer Kevin Antunes or bodyguard Lonnie Jones had fan sites devoted to them because fans would see them on the Making the Tour DVD or at shows. Message boards and chat rooms in 2000, you'd find lengthy posts dissecting each concert, set list changes, wardrobe mishaps, and technical glitches. Fans essentially became amateur tour reporters. The tour also fostered a sense of fan community. Friendships were born from shared concert experiences, and fan clubs grew with each city visited. The No Strings Attached tour did not happen in a vacuum. It was part of a pop tour arms race around the turn of the millennium, with NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, and other pop acts all mounting huge productions. For the Backstreet Boys Into the Millennium tour from 99 to 2000 was one of the fastest selling tours ever at the time. The entire first leg, 53 shows, sold out on its on-sale date in August 1999. That tour reportedly sold 765,000 tickets in its initial leg, grossing around $30 million. In terms of production, BSB's tour was elaborate for its time. However, NSYNC's No Strings Attached tour arguably upped the ante. By mid-2000, technology had advanced and NSYNC took full advantage with more complex automation and video integration than BSB had the year prior. When BSB hit the road again in 2001 for the Black and Blue tour, they faced the challenge of topping NSYNC's 2000 spectacle. Both were extravagant, but the No Strings Attached tour set a new benchmark that even Backstreet had to acknowledge. In later interviews, BSB members admitted they paid attention to NSYNC staging to keep pace. For example, BSB added more flying rigs and even a water element in their 2001 tour. Britney's summer 2000 tour, the Oops I Did It Again tour, ran concurrently with NSYNC's, often playing similar venues just weeks apart, which invited comparisons. Her Oops I Did It Again tour was a massive success in its own right, grossing about $40.5 million in 2000. However, Britney's production was scaled down relative to NSYNC's. She played mostly amphitheaters and smaller arenas. In terms of cultural impact, Britney's tour was significant. She was a solo female pop act commanding huge crowds. But the sheer scale of NSYNC's tour outdid Britney's that year. Polestar ranked Britney's Oops' tour among the highest grossing of 2000 as well, but it was roughly half of NSYNC's gross. That said, Britney's later tours, like 2001's Dream Within a Dream, took inspiration from the boy band playbook and became more theatrical, showing how NSYNC's success may have nudged fellow pop stars to go bigger. Christina Aguilera embarked on her first headlining tour in 2000, after NSYNC's, but on a smaller scale, theaters and small arenas. Interestingly, Destiny's Child was originally slated to open for this NSYNC tour, but they opted to join Christina's tour instead. This meant NSYNC toured essentially without a superstar opener. They had Pink and Cisco, who were rising but not at Destiny's Child level yet. Despite that, NSYNC had no trouble selling out. A testament that they, unlike some peers, didn't need a co-headliner boost. For context, it's worth comparing NSYNC's tour to major rock tours of the era, even though the genres differ. In 2000, U2 launched their Elevation Tour, and in 1999 to 2000, the Rolling Stones had their No Security Tour. Those acts typically grossed in 70 to 100 million range per tour, similar to NSYNC, but over fewer shows with higher ticket prices. The fact that a young pop group like NSYNC could match or exceed the grosses of veteran rock acts was eye-opening for the industry. It signaled that teen pop had become the big business on par with classic rock. In Polestar's list of top tours for 2000, NSYNC was number 2, ahead of rock staples like Dave Matthews at number 3, and Kiss at number 4. Critics who once might have dismissed teen pop tours as lightweight had to acknowledge the impressive logistics and consistent sellouts the genre delivered. 25 years later, the No Strings Attached tour is remembered not only as the peak of NSYNC's career, but also as a watershed moment for pop music touring. Its impact can be seen in how modern concerts are staged, how tours are marketed, and in the nostalgia it still evokes among the generations that witnessed it. The tour's extravagant production and record-setting sales signaled to the industry that teen pop had truly arrived as a dominant force. Promoters realized that tours by young pop acts could rival the revenue of legacy rock artists, which led to greater investment in pop concert productions. This concept tour approach has since been adopted by many artists. You can draw a line from NSYNC's Puppet Strings to say Taylor Swift's storytelling on her tours. It's also worth noting how NSYNC's tour pre-staged the importance of tour sponsorships and broadcast specials in pop music. Their Madison Square Garden show was filmed and aired as an HBO special, bringing the concert to millions of living rooms. Previously, HBO had featured many rock or adult contemporary stars. The success of NSYNC's HBO broadcast and strong VHS DVD sales of that concert opened the door for more pop tours to get televised. Soon after, Britney Spears' 2001 tour got an HBO special, and nowadays it's common for major tours, from Lady Gaga to Billie Eilish, to be recorded for streaming platforms. NSYNC helped prove that the demand was there to see these performances beyond the arena. At the height of its run, the No Strings Attached tour was more than just a series of concerts. It was a pop culture phenomenon. The tour's success further solidified NSYNC's place in pop history, right alongside their record-smashing album sales. It fueled the so-called boy band craze of the late 90s, early 2000s. The tour showed a positive power of fandom. Many fans have said that being part of that communal experience was empowering and gave them lifelong happy memories. For the members of NSYNC themselves, the tour marketed their evolution from up-and-coming boy band to pop superstars and live entertainers. They proved to any remaining skeptics that they could sing and dance live for 2 hours and hold an audience's attention. Internally, the tour was a bonding experience. Lance Bass later recalled how living on the road together in 2000, navigating that massive production, brought the 5 members closer as a family. NSYNC would only do one more album after No Strings Attached. A final moment of pure boy band triumph before the hiatus and eventual split, which I'm still refusing to believe is a split. Many fans who were preteens then are now in their 30s, and the tour has achieved legendary status and nostalgia. Social media is full of throwbacks, and for the 20th and 25th anniversaries of the tour, fans have shared ticket stubs, photos, and even old homemade tour scrapbooks reminiscing about that era. The cultural legacy extends to the continued admiration for the tour's professionalism. Contemporary artists sometimes reference it. Members of boy bands from the 2010s like the Jonas Brothers or BTS have cited NSYNC as inspiration for how to put on a show. The term pop spectacle might as well have a picture of NSYNC circa 2000 next to it. And of course, the songs have endured. When NSYNC reunited briefly at the 2023 VMAs, albeit just to present an award, which Taylor Swift won, and fangirled the perfect amount. The internet buzzed with excitement largely because of nostalgia tied to things like the No Strings Attached tour. There's even a generation of younger fans who weren't old enough to attend in 2000, but have discovered their tour via YouTube videos or their parents' stories. Also, shout out to Deadpool and Wolverine for putting Bye 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 in the opening scene and making it a trending song in 2024. In the end, the No Strings Attached tour's legacy is one of innovation, enthusiasm, and pop excellence. It raised the bar for concert production in the pop world, demonstrated the commercial might of teen pop, and left an indelible mark on millions of fans. As a touring production, it showed that a boy band could mount a show as technically sophisticated as any veteran act. Culturally, it became a defining symbol of an era when pop music was on top of the world. Images of those 5 silhouettes dangling from giant puppeteer hands, the sound of tens of thousands of voices screaming in unison, and the feeling of pure joy that swept through arenas night after night in the summer of 2000. It remains a high point in pop tour history, and its strings are still attached to the memories of a generation. Please like and subscribe if you love this video. If you liked me trying to teach you something about the things that live rent-free in my brain, I'm going to put on Patreon me watching and reacting to making the band from the No Strings Attached tour, as well as the Live from Madison Square Garden concert film. I plan on doing a lot more deep dives of tours like this, like the Pop Odyssey tour, Backstreets into the Millennium Tour, before I go see the Millennium Tour at the Sphere in August of this year. I'm about to go to Jonas Con. As you're watching this, I will be at Jonas Con, so I'll have plenty of vlogs and content and recaps of that. Please subscribe if you like what you see. I've worked in live music and in VIP. I really want to do this as more than a passion project. I want to do this as my career. If you were there, I'm sure you remember the screaming, all of the iconic moments, JC licking the stage. If you went to this tour, please comment down below and tell me all of your memories, all of your favorite moments. If you didn't go to this tour like me, what moments did you wish that you could have seen with your own eyes? Don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon. It's linked down below in the description. I actually watched the full Madison Square Garden concert film of NSYNC's No Strings Attached tour with no editing, so you guys can join me for that. I'm also going to post an edited version here on YouTube. Please join me in my journey of finally being on YouTube and posting and getting my shit together. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like this video so I get the affirmation and the serotonin that I need to survive and continue doing this, because I really want to do this.